You want to carve your own Christmas decoration? All you need is a block of basswood, a knife, and maybe a V-tool, and that's it. Let's start. We start by setting in the nose first. So I had a mark on 3.5 and 4.5 centimeters. So we set in the nose with stop cuts, so that the nose sticks out very much. Always looks better when the nose is big and clumsy. And we remove the hard edges as well at the beginning, right? So like this, yeah. And stop cut on the other side. So, remove the hard edge here as well. Be very careful, don't let it split too much there. So, then it should look like this. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? It just should look like this. You can start by removing all the hard edges. Don't remove too much on the right side, because in Austria we say Bommel. I don't know what you say in English, but we need a lot of wood for this part, so be very careful by removing this edge. But all the other edges, you can start removing them and rounding the whole carving off. So it should be a gnome. This gnome has not a lot of corners, so he has to be round, and it's easier for us to work with the whole thing when it is round from the beginning. So I can tell you a little trick that I found out, or I think someone said it once in a tutorial. You have this hard edge right here, and you remove this thing, and you have two more edges right here. Can you see that? So you remove that. You have this area, and you have this edge and this edge. And when you remove that one as well, and the other one, and then the middle one again, it starts rounding the whole thing off, right? And that's exactly what we want to do. So let me round that off and come back to you when I'm done, right? Before we go to the next step, I purposely left this side undone, because if you remove the saw marks as well, which is a very important part, you don't have problems with oiling it or painting it later, because the saw marks soak in the color very differently than when it's freshly cut with the knife, right? So just remove all the saw marks, and like here as well where the Bommel goes. Just do that because we don't want that thing on our carving right now. Okay, so it doesn't need to be perfectly round, but it should look like this. And the next step is we set in the head. So in order to do that, we start on the top of the nose. Okay, the nose looks like this, it doesn't matter. We do we do the nose later, but set in the head first is very important. And we go down a little bit, because in nature no one wears a head straight. I mean, okay, yeah. It's possible that someone does that, I don't. And it looks even better when it's not straight. I did a carving where it's straight and it doesn't look that good, but yeah. So, going around. Tip, tip, tip. Okay. And very important thing is you set in this thing like in a not 45, in a 90-degree angle, right? Use a little pressure. Set in a 90-degree angle. If you're not that comfortable with a lot of pressure because you're afraid that the knife will slip and you hurt yourself, it doesn't matter. Just set in the knife twice or even 3 times. Use a little bit more pressure and you should be fine. just make sure that you don't do extra cuts, right? So when you do that the second time and you set in, wait, let me focus. And you do that a second time and a third time, don't do extra cuts. It's going to be really messy. Try to use the same cut you did before and set in this thing. Yeah? Like this. So, okay. The next thing is the nose. You can draw it first if you're not comfortable with doing it freehandly. So, like this. And the next important thing is you have to connect those two cuts, like this. If they're not connected, like the wood will not click out as easily, and you have to cut once or twice again, and it's going to be also really messy in the corner there. Because it's so hard to remove like leftover wood from the corners, and we want to be as clean as possible with the least amount of cuts. Yeah. Here you push in, not like this, you push in like this. You see that the knife perfectly fits, or almost perfectly fits in this corner, but I do like this cut, right? So, set in, go like this, boop, and pop it out. Tip. And if you have leftover wood right there, don't try to poke the wood out. Redo all the cuts you did before, like on the left side. You can even do that again. Left side, on the right side, and see? And you popped out all the thing, and there's no left, or almost no leftover wood. Wait, can you see it? Oh, yeah. Which is very good because you don't want to do hundreds of cuts and make it even look worse than it when it started, right? So, okay. So you can remove all this wood over here, make the nose stick out a little bit, and you can start by making stop cuts to set in the head. Okay, we do that all around. And you can start by rounding off his face or his body. Yeah, so you can do that because we want, he doesn't have a straight body, right? He has a little bit of a stomach, or let's say stomach area, and it looks even more natural. So you start rounding that off. Okay, so here comes the tricky part for all the lefties out there. And if you are right-handed, you have your tricky part on the other side. I always turn around the carving, just redo all the cuts to make sure that it's deep enough. Let's do that. And be very gentle. Do more cuts than less, because if you are very safe, you don't hurt yourself. And I have time for all the cuts. Do it like this, right? So easy. I think I should make it a little bit deeper. Looks good. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, looks good. Okay, then I go and make the carving even rounder at the bottom so that it looks like he has a little bit of a stomach. Do it like this. So always look at your carving, see what needs correction. What looks good, what doesn't look good. Okay. I think he's fine. Okay. I think we're ready for the nose. So the nose looks like this at the moment, which is not very good. So remove the hard edge. And we set in, like, we make it a little bit rounder here. And on the other side, remove this thing here. Okay, maybe on this side as well here. Okay, and now we can start from the middle of the nose, going up and making a lot of tiny cuts. And it doesn't matter if you hit the back and make cuts on the back or on the head. It doesn't really matter, but you can and turn around and make the other half. And then it should get round. I removed the tip as well there because it's sticking out way too much for my taste. So also remove the hard edges there. Be very careful here. Oh, see? Oh, I split the nose. That's not good. So that's a good case because we need correction here. And a good carver is not a carver who makes a carving perfectly, but who can hide his mistake. Yeah. So I think that's okay-ish. Use a little bit leftover wood, which doesn't look good. Okay. But I think we are, for now, done with the nose. Maybe this part is too much here, because on the other side it is gone. Okay. Nice. Perfect. Okay. To set in the mouth, we do the toes as well. Which are not toes, but the feet as well. Set in, like, in the middle of the nose, like one side of the beard, like this, and the other side of the beard. These two cuts have to connect because we need a mouth as well, and this is like a pyramid cut. So we have to connect those two beard cuts as well. So set in the shoes or the feet. You got a big toes, but it's okay. So, and again, 90-degree angle. Set in fairly deep. If you're not comfortable with it, just do it twice or 3 times. Doesn't matter. I always do it like 3 or 4 times. This is deep enough. So like this and set in the shoes. So I always redo the edges because they're very important to be very deep. So you don't see it. I'm so sorry. Okay, perfect. At first, we do the mouth, and this is like a pyramid where you go in with the knife like this and just clip it out. You see? And if it don't, does what you want like this, you just repeat the same cuts. Chop, almost, no, like these. Perfect. It's always good to have a brush next to you. Ah, perfect. Okay, perfect. Then, for the lefties on this side, we want the beard to be sticking out on the outside and the stomach part here to be on the inside. Just cut to the toes. Be very careful not to remove the shoes. That's what happened a lot of times, so they got like tiny little feet. Okay. And then on the other side. It should look like this then. And to set in the feet, I use a V tool. You can also do V cuts, but I'm just a lazy person, so I do it like this. Yes. Remove that part as well here with a V cut. And this one. So, like this. And then you can do a 45 degree angle here. And on the other side. Like this. Perfect. And here on both sides. And here. So, and we are almost done with the face and the feet and everything on the lower part of the carving. So, brush, always good. Okay, remove the pencil marks here. Okay, he looks cool. Maybe remove the edge here. Perfect. Super duper. Okay. Next step. We make the second part of the head because this little white part over here. So, pencil. Go around. You can do like a centimeter. Wait, how much is it? Is it a centimeter? Yeah, almost. Almost a centimeter thick. Oops. So, go around the carving. Okay. Then set in again, fairly deep. I figured out the deeper you carve the details, the better it looks most of the time, right? I did very few carvings where I didn't do as deep cuts, and they don't look that good in my opinion. But that's just personal preference, right? So, set in, go in 2 or 3 times if you want. I'm fine with once, and do stop cuts all around the carving. And keep in mind that the part we are carving off, right? So this thing here needs to be the thickest part, right? So everything else from there needs to be removed, if that makes sense. So we got a lot, a lot of wood to remove there. But we'll do that later. Just set in the head first, and then we'll continue. So we're almost done. Okay, so, and to make the head look a little bit better, like this part of the head, there's a simple trick you can do. We don't want any edges there. So, if we do like kinda like it like the like carve it like the nose, and just remove the edges till you connect it with the body on this side, on the head on the other side. You can remove the little cuts you did there. Do it like this. From this side and from the other, and repeat it. Careful with the nose. We don't want to remove any of the nose. We just set in first. So there you have to be very careful. So like this. And yes, on the other side as well, but just clean it up a little bit afterwards, because it's going to be really messy if you do a lot of cuts there, like me. Okay, let's do the other side. And if you block yourself with the knife or something like that, just turn around the carving. It's so easy sometimes. You don't know how to angle your knife, and the simplest solution is just to turn around the carving. Happens to me all the time. Okay, so. Okay, I think, ooh, that was a lot. I removed a lot there, that's not good, but we're fine, I guess. Okay, that looks cool, huh? Perfect. Okay, this is a little bit too much. And here we got, that's not, I think it's, yeah, that's the wood, that's not my cuts. It's just, that's the wood. Okay. Perfect. So, last but not least, brush it again. Last but not least, we make le bommel. To do that, we just make a circle around here. Just very big, like this. Doesn't need to be round, but it's just like an orientation for us. And then we do stop cuts again. Set in here first. Remove a lot of wood there. And make it round too, and just work your way up on the sides. It prevents a lot of splitting if you do it that way. And it's easier to control the bommel over here. That you don't remove too much wood, right? Just make it round and straight. Be very careful about splitting when you remove that much wood there. Wood is good. That much wood. That much wood. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. Okay, then now it comes the tricky part where we are trying to round the top off there, right? So we go in and just remove the edges there. And the only important thing is to make this area here round. We remove that one, but it's easier for my understanding at least, when I leave that at first and then remove it at the last second there, because the carving, because the bommel is the hardest part in my opinion there. To not in terms of skill, but in terms of making the thing as round as possible, right? So just like do stop cuts over here. Can you see that? And start by rounding that off and stopping over here, right? Making it like this. You can even set in the knife first, make a little like a stop cut area where we define where the knife stops and doesn't go further. So remove the saw marks on the top as well. I hope the focus is not messed up. I'm so sorry guys if it did. If it did mess up. Okay. Okay, so now comes the tricky part. Be very gentle there. Let me focus. Now that's good. So in my opinion, the top is much too big. There's a lot of wood that has to be removed. Like here, like this, right? Yeah. That's the part which doesn't look good. Look at your carving. Just calculate what needs to be removed, that it looks good. Here as well for me. Yeah, like this side. Yeah. And here. Okay, so, and now you start rounding that whole thing off. Make it a circle. Make it round. Here as well, that's the tricky part here. Just be very careful of your thumb there. And of course of splitting the wood. So it's starting to look like something. Perfect. Okay. So the finishing blows of this thing here. Okay. In my opinion, the head is like the tip is a little bit too thick. Still too thick. But you can choose which size the head is going to be. I don't care how thick your head is. Okay, I'm fine with that. Let's compare it. Yeah, that looks good. Perfect. So, to set in like this little notches over here. You can either make a V-cut with the knife, like this, or you're lazy and use a V-tool, like me. Make some notches. Perfect. Okay, that looks good. Super. Okay, to set in the beard. In my opinion, if you do more cuts with the either with the knife, like this, V-cuts, or you use the V-tool, the more you do, the better it is. Just for the beard, there's just one rule here for me, and this is you set in like a little, like normally, and on this carving, the beard should grow from his nose to the bottom, right? So you have to let the beard grow from the nose to the bottom, which is you cut like this. Some cuts to the nose, where it looks like it grows from there, right? So everything else is not that important. Just do big ones and smaller ones, like pretty random. And don't forget the middle part here as well. And remove the leftover wood with the knife there, because there's definitely going to be one if you do it with a V-tool. So, like this. Good. Okay. And then two. To the nose, like this. And then randomly placed cuts, like this. And go over the edge there with your cuts. It looks very natural when you're doing that, and even on the opposite side, it doesn't look good when you not do that. And also go directly almost into the head. Try not to remove the parts of the head, but cut into it and stop right before you cut the head off. And that's very easy to make a thing look like a beard, in my opinion. So remove the cuts, then not the cuts, remove the leftover wood, which sticks there. Perfect. There the brush also really helps. We do that afterwards. So. Okay, and then we brush it. So we did vertical cuts, right? And for the head of these two parts here, we do horizontal cuts, which is very important in my opinion, because it tends to look the same like the beard if you do that on the same, if you do both vertical or both horizontal. And it, yeah, separates these two styles and it looks really good. You can use a normal V-tool, or I prefer, if you have one, like a V-tool which is, wait, do you see that? Which has a little round bottom. it looks a little bit different, but it doesn't matter if it's a normal V-tool or you do it with the knife. It really doesn't matter, guys. So, but do very little cuts, like this. Not as long as the beard. We don't need to do that. And again, randomly place them all over the head. Just make sure you be very clean and don't cause splitting that much. I mean, it's not avoidable, but you can be very careful, and that helps a lot. Gentle cuts all over it. Okay, I come back to you when I'm done, and then we look at the finished carving, right? So guys, brush it up, and it should look like this. You got your own Christmas decoration.